Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Lab number 115 LTV1. This is a package of 100 long, tangle-resistant springs. They are tangle-resistant. They fall right out. Pull one out of the vial here, and then we'll take a look. Not much to see here, obviously. Very small item on a camera that's not is not going to capture this. But I'll take a couple of basic dimensional properties of the item, let you know what it is, and then we'll switch to the screen view and take a look at the supporting documentation. Overall thickness of the spring, 0.103, 0.103 in length, pardon me, in diameter. And overall length of this spring, say we're going to be about 0.545. A wire thickness of the material looks like it's about 0.010. 0.010 wire thickness. Let's switch now to the screen view and take a closer look at the supporting documentation. Okay, so here's the item that we're looking at, the Lab 0.115 long springs. Not much to see here. We've discussed the details of the material. Let's click on the manufacturer's link here and then open up the product catalog. And we'll just do a find function on the keyboard for long springs. We'll see what we can find. So 115 comes up with, long spring didn't show anything that I had really hoped that it would, except that here it is. So 115, that's obviously going to be a reference to the diameter of the chamber that we're going into. Okay, so 115 is going to be a typical diameter for generic pins. So when I say generic, I mean common size. You'll note that there are other diameters of pins, whether it be Best or Medico. There are definitely different sizes of diameters of pins. But the 115 LT, now we're doing a V, which means vial, which is the plastic container, which I personally prefer over the P, which I don't know what they really call P. It's a package. I don't like these because it's harder for me to look in a box with all of my organized vials to see what I have and, more importantly, what I'm out of. Time to key locks, and now we're checking to see if we've got springs. So this is it right here. Long, tangle-resistant spring, and that's what you're going to find, available in a universal 0.005, 0.003 kit. Now, if you've ever used the standard springs, you'll know that they do tangle together. The tangle-resistant springs are really, really nice because they seem to, while they don't nest together like the standard springs do, they're not meant to nest together. So, locksmithing is very much based on preference. I use either. Universal is what's typical and common, but it's nice to use the tangle-resistant springs as well. Now, in this link to the manufacturer's page, in the manufacturer's product catalog, you will find all things lab-related. And I will tell you that while we would not be classified as doing locksmithing here, we do our fair share of locksmithing on a daily basis. And I can tell you that we fully recognize and can tell you from first-hand experience that springs are different. You don't want to use springs for one application in a different application where it's not the appropriate spring. It will boil down to it either not working correctly or to it not working at all. Especially I find when you're dealing with small format, you really have to have the proper spring for doing small format. This IC core, if you're doing Falcon, you're going to find that you will not want to even try to use any other spring. You know, the best long spring is not going to work. It'll be awful. So be mindful that you have many choices of springs here. You simply want to be sure when you're repopulating a lab kit, or if you're trying to go with a manufacturer standard and you're not buying the original equipment from the manufacturer, you want to be sure that you're buying the right spring. It doesn't mean that lab has the correct spring for your application, such as I don't believe they have springs for Medico sidebars, sidebar springs. I don't see any here that would be even remotely that close. It would also be kind of true to say, though, is that lab is known to manufacture equipment for the major lock manufacturers. So buying lab could be the same as buying, you know, the item from the major lock manufacturer anyway. So I would very much recommend a review of this catalog. I have owned a .003 green emerald wedge kit forever and ever. Lock pin kits are quite unique to every platform that you're pinning. It just happens to be with the Lab LPK 003, you're going to be able to handle your regular Schlags, your quick sets, things of that nature, your Arrow. So it's a great kit in the sense that it will do many standard jobs very well. There is a downside that might be mentioned in the world of locksmithing. You know, when you color code pins, and color coding is nice, it helps you kind of recall what pin you just took out of the kit and help you not put it back into the wrong compartment. It is relatively easy to sight read the color of pins and make very educated guesses as to what is the cut on the key, because if you realize it's a Schlage system and there are going to be only so many colors in a Schlage system, so be mindful of that. Other pin kits are here as well. I own this mini kit. I think I've been given it free in a class that I've attended. And I do have that 003 universal kit, but every other kit that I have is manufacturer specific, bought from the manufacturer. That makes for a lot of pinning kits, unfortunately. Anyway, let's go back to the manufacturer's page where you can see not only all of the lab products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, and again, that link to the product catalog. Let's wrap up this video on camera. In conclusion, when it comes to the quality of the lab brand, in 3 decades, I cannot recall a single item not being manufactured correctly. Not one time. Of the tens and tens and tens of thousands of pins and springs and other items that you would buy from lab, never once have I come across a defect. Not one time. If you have any questions on the lab, this is their 115 LT. It happens to be a V because it's a vial, or any other lab product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.